I'm 31, and if you're as old as me, you would have seen the downfall of Mercedes. And in fact, even better if you're a bit older, because you would have seen Mercedes being at their peak and really seeing how they fell off. And a lot of you guys watching this who are actually younger than me might be saying, Benz, fallen off? Mercedes Benz is one of the great brands today. And it is, right? Formula One, AMGs, it represents technology, innovation, performance, luxury. Benz is a prestigious and premier product. But before the 2000s, all the way up to the 90s, Mercedes-Benz represented all of those things, but Mercedes-Benz also represented over-engineering. Now again, you might stop me and say, over-engineering, well that's what not only Benz, that's what all Germans do best. But back then, it actually meant something positive. Today, when you say German brands have over-engineering, generally it has negative connotations. I'm an engineer, and for me that has negative connotations because it means it's making a solution much more complicated. One of the concepts you learn in engineering school is Occam's razor. It effectively implies that the simpler solution is often the correct one. German cars today, not just Benz, but all German cars, have really found themselves quite a bit far away from that concept. In the past, Mercedes-Benz represented over-engineering when it meant that a product was built to a higher standard than it needed to be. Bank vault, solid. Those are some of the terms you use for Benzes, and make no mistake guys, everyone back then knew that Mercedes-Benz was not as reliable as a Camry, right? No one was mistaking Mercedes-Benz for being as reliable as a general Corolla or a Camry. These are white good appliances, right? They are always going to be one step ahead. But given the performance, given the tech, given the luxury, given the innovation, Benz was making excellent cars. They were being used as taxis. They were in Africa in some really harsh climates, and they were doing heavy mileages. But unfortunately, Mercedes-Benz shifted its focus and it went down the route of cost cutting and profitability, and businesses need to make money to survive, obviously, so I'm not knocking that. Today, Mercedes-Benz, I don't even think Mercedes-Benz represents premier luxury today. I'm not sure what Mercedes-Benz represents. Maybe it represents ambient lighting, right? Because their cars seem to have a lot of that. And if you see the new CLA, it's gone hybrid/electric. If you see the interior of that, what a mess. And it's sad, right? Because I make these videos and a lot of people, they can take offense to them because they think I'm sort of bagging on German cars, but I'm not. It's coming from a place of disappointment and of sadness. Mercedes-Benz is one of the only brands to be at the forefront of innovation. So many things that we enjoy today, all these sensors, electric seats, all these things, electric mirrors, these were found in Mercedes-Benzes, right? They funneled their way down from the S-classes of the world, and we enjoy them because of Benz. So it hurts my heart to see Mercedes-Benz and to point out the flaws in Benz, but that's where we are. But today's video obviously is about a motor that has been a jewel in an era where Mercedes-Benz wasn't doing too good reliability-wise, and it's actually one of Mercedes-Benz's most solid motors ever made. I would say ever, especially given the performance on offer. It is obviously the M113k. The K stands for compressor or supercharger. The M113k engine is a 5.5-liter V8 supercharged based on the M113, but you can't just strap on a supercharger on the M113 and call it a day. This engine went through very notable changes. The compression rate was lowered, a bunch of changes to ensure that it could handle the extra boost from that supercharger. And this was equipped to the 55 AMGs of that era. It came in the E-Class, the E55 AMG, in the CLS 55 AMG, in the SL 55 AMG, among other cars. And it was an absolute torque monster, guys. The power it made was crazy for that era, and even today, if you line it up, even today, it makes crazy power. Now, the engine offered very simple technology, single overhead cam, and right now, German and Japanese car manufacturers, I'm in a Toyota GR-Yaris, even the Japanese are using crazy tech, but this engine was a pretty basic engine, which is what made it really good. But of course, if you go ahead in the market and you buy this engine today, you're gonna run into issues. Regardless of it being one of AMG's and Mercedes-Benz's best motors, it's going to be a non-buy for me today, especially if you're coming from near warranty cars, even German cars, right? If you own a 6 or 7 or 8-year-old German car, it's still going to be tough getting into this motor. And the biggest thing is age, guys. Regardless, make no mistake, regardless of Japanese or German cars, age is one of the biggest factors that brings a car down. Look at what the warranty says of cars. They'll give you 3-year warranty, unlimited kilometers. So the manufacturer does not care. They don't care if you're doing 100,000, 200,000. but they're only going to give you 3 years, or maybe 5 years or 7 years. But they put a cap on that warranty in terms of time. time is one of the biggest killers of engines. And some of the common issues of this engine are the supercharger pulley, the bearing on that goes off, the clutch goes off. There's also PCV issues, which are very common with Mercedes Benz, and it occurs here as well. Nothing complicated. You then have the intercooler pump failure. Mercedes Benz uses air to water intercooling, which is actually quite advanced for that time. Then you've got the crankshaft position sensor that fails. That's again something that follows along a lot of Mercedes Benzes. Then you've got the transmission conductor plate failures. Now the 5-speed automatic transmission was great in this car, but the conductor plate can fail, and that's an issue. And really some of the other issues are not really engine related, they're more car related, and one of the biggest ones I wanted to point out was air suspension. Anything with that is going to be expensive. Pumps, struts, whatever happens, and a bunch of stuff happens with that. And with age, guys, these in any, it's not just a Benz issue. In BMW, Benz, Audi, and even to some extent Lexus, right? These suspensions do not last a long time, and anytime it goes, it is eye-wateringly expensive, eye-wateringly. So you have to understand, maybe it's been put on coilovers because it failed. If that's the case, then it's probably a good buy, but the air suspension is going to be a really tough one if you pick up cars that have this engine, and most of them come with that. You're also going to get fuel tanks, they can leak, and again, that's going to be an expensive repair. And then in all German cars of that era, you're going to get coolant and oil leaks as well. So it's a great motor, guys. Make no mistake, one of Mercedes-Benz's best. But if you have to pick it up today, you better be a mechanic and you better know what you're doing. Because if you don't, it is going to cost you double what you pay for the car. I would predict if you want to take it to a local mechanic, not a dealership, right? If you want to take it to a local mechanic and maintain this car properly, if you go out and buy it, a model today, you're going to be paying around $8,000 a year to keep it on the road. So consider if the dream of owning one of Benz's best engines is really worth it for you. For me personally, guys, I couldn't even continue owning my 2015 M235 BMW, right? The N55 engine, which by all accounts is actually a pretty good motor. I couldn't even continue owning that because I was getting painful repairs. It just didn't make sense. So for me, it's going to be a no, but for the right person, it's a beautiful piece of AMG history, a beautiful, robust engine. If maintained well, it'll go upwards of 200,000 to 300,000 miles, which is more than can be said for most common engines today, more than can be said for even Toyotas of today. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time.